Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. We look at inner transformation through Japa in this 13th episode of Mantra Yoga, which are live streaming from Hollywood. A lot of people come and say that we have been doing Japa, a repetition of the mantra, a repetition of God's name, for a good many years, a good many months, a good many weeks, and nothing seems to be happening. At times, people say that the claims of all this mantra yoga and mantra business and all these things are just kind of trying to delude us. They are promising something, but they are not delivering it. I assure you, the promises made in the scriptures regarding mantra yoga are real promises. There is no doubt about it. The idea is to stick to your practice, and but there's also the thing that when we practice, we've got to do it correctly. There's a kind of a methodology that one needs to follow. It's like, a humorous illustration is Swami Turiyananda, one of that direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, says that in the old days in India especially, there was a place outside the kitchen window that people used to throw those earthenware pots, broken earthenware, old earthenware. You don't need them anymore. We've got some. So what happened? They used to pile up after a while. And then there was someone else's job to go and break those broken earthenware utensils and everything else. And so one person goes and starts breaking those earthenware, broken utensils. So he breaks them even further so that they can be properly discarded. And then from morning till evening he is doing that, and then after he finishes saying, I worked so hard, nobody even acknowledged my hard work. Well, what the guy had done is he broke broken pots, which are just useless work. So similarly, when you're doing japa, you got to know that there is, and in this series we have been speaking about the various methodologies, anything that can enhance your practice, everything that gives your practices an edge, the cutting edge, so that you can cut through some of the obstructions and realize the results of repeating God's name. Okay. So what actually happens? You see, what happens is there is an evolution from the subtle to the grossest. So here we've done something called evolution of consciousness. You must understand that consciousness is the only reality in this world, and this consciousness appears in various stages. Let me talk about it. Consciousness is the only reality in this world, and this consciousness appears to evolve into various planes of existences. People have been searching for consciousness. Consciousness is everywhere. So the first evolution of consciousness evolves into something called the mind. Okay, the great mind energy, the great mind, the cosmic mind. There's a first level of evolution. That mind concretizes or evolves into something called the vital force or the prana. This prana is found all over in every living organism. Every organism has prana. And if it has prana, it also has to have mind. Let me emphasize, wherever there is a life force, wherever there is life, there has to be a mind, including trees, including insects, including birds, animals, humans, of course.
Stones.
Wherever there is life, we'll take your questions later. Okay. So, prana then, life force, evolves into matter. Like something like E is equal to mc square. Life energy is nothing but a higher form of matter, or energy is transformed into matter. Matter and energy is kind of always joined. What we see as matter is nothing but energy. So prana evolves into matter. Matter then further evolves into all these sensible objects, these all which can be sensed through the sense organs. So this is the evolution of consciousness through these various planes. So you will find consciousness in all living beings. You will find life force in all living beings. You will find mind in all living beings. And wherever you find life force, etc., and consciousness, you'll find a physical configuration. And if this is clear, then one must understand that, yes, now, this is a kind of, what is Japa? What is the path of evolution? Now you've got to do a kind of a reverse journey and kind of an involution, as it were. From the physical, you go down, you go up rather, to the vital force, and the vital force goes up to the mind, and the mind goes up to consciousness. So we have the second part of, we find the evolution coming down, and then this is kind of a, when you start doing this japa, what happens is there's a kind of a refinement of consciousness. Consciousness as it were purified. What is purification? What? Consciousness is pure. Yes, consciousness, when it is evolved and into all these displayed things, it is joined, as it were, with matter, with life force, with mind. So when you start doing japa, the first thing is japa refines one material energies. This is clear. We talk about japa, the repetition of God's name, purifies the body. What do you mean purifies? Is it some kind of detoxification that goes on there? It's a spiritual detoxification. We know about physical detox, when we eat, all those, with the food we ingest toxins also, and sometimes the body can throw them off. And that's why we fall sick and we get all diseases. So this is the first spiritual, you can say, refining processes that happens because of practice of japa. The body becomes pure. How do you know? Certain things kind of repel you. Bad things repel you. Good things attract you. This is one of the first signs of the purification of the body. Certain food, certain people, certain things will attract you, and certain bad things will repel you. So this is the first stage. The second stage is this purification of the body. Then, as one keeps on doing japa, the life force is purified. And this is very important, because now life is always, you can say, joined with the repetition of the mantra. Your life becomes a kind of a constant adoration, a constant repetition of God's name. It's as simple. The mantra, as it were, vibrates within you, and this vibration is felt by other people also, because they also have this life force in them. So your life force, the vital energies, there are many vital energies in the body, they become purified through japa. And this life force and vital force, this prana, then purifies the mind. The mind is purified. And when mind gets purified, intelligence, which is the highest point, the crest of the mind. The mind has various things like memories and the sense of identity, and you can say the sense of, you can say, deliberation and doubt and all these things. Intelligence also. So intelligence becomes purified. And this intelligence now can say, yes, there is a God. It is on this level. Even when the mind is purified, one does not doubt anymore the existence of God. It is only here that one can see. People, when they say, is there a God? Is there? They are on the lowest, the grossest level of consciousness. And so what happens is, how do you tell them? Practice a little. So if you ask somebody, if a child asks, are there so many galaxies that these guys speak about? Yes. Why don't you go and see some documentary, or go to a planetarium, or go to a kind of a observatory and observe all those galaxies. You thought they were stars, now they're galaxies. So you need a methodology also, then you study them. So similarly, at this level, when the mind and intelligence is purified, all doubts are set at rest. And then when the intelligence is purified, it becomes unobstructed, consciousness shines. Now this is the state where one has to reach through japa. It's a process that will take you down to the very level. Your mantra, or a mantra, is now conscious. It is called the mantra awakening, which we have spoken about. It's an awakening of the mantra. The mantra is now awakened within you. It keeps on repeating by itself. You will see all your activities are funneled through this mantra. Your consciousness is kind of funneling all its energies, pure energies, through the mantra, and through the mantra all your activities go. So you're walking and talking and thinking, and all your thoughts, words, deeds, in short, are nothing but the mantra with consciousness being repeated there. Your whole being now vibrates with this. It's a process where you keep on slowly wiping off that impurities. And this is how you slowly keep on doing. As you keep on wiping and wiping and wiping and keep on doing japa and japa and japa and japa, what happens is slowly things will become more and more and more and more clear. This is exactly how things happen. There is no doubt about it. The mantra is extremely powerful. And if it doesn't do that, that means there's something, either the repetition is wrong, the articulation is wrong, and one is obstructed. So this processes of japa repetition is gradual. In some people it might take a few months, in some people it might take a few years to raise oneself from one level to the other. When the body is purified and the life forces is purified and the mind is purified, and then intelligence and consciousness is completely there, one gets the realization of one's individual self first, and then one sees the second part of that realization is that same consciousness which is here within my body is in all bodies. That's the second. You find the pervasiveness of consciousness. So mantra can lead you to the highest point of known existence, of existence itself. So how do we do it? How do we go about it? And this is what is important. So first is, every religion speaks about you've got to be moral, you've got to be ethical. Why? Certain actions degrade you, certain actions ennoble you. So morality purifies us by storing up this psychic energy within us. That is why we are asked to be moral. You are storing up all that energy which will be otherwise wasted in useless talk and useless words and useless deeds. So all forms of restraint, self-control. I want to do this, but I judge that could have consequences, bad consequences. I don't do that. I pull myself out from that. So every form of restraint also is building up energy. Unselfishness, of course, is always there. We have been asked to be unselfish, and be unselfish. All religion hinges upon this unselfishness. So this is the good method of storing all your psychic energy. And then last is, and not the least, but it's the best, japa. Japa is the best method to raise or purify one's consciousness. It encapsulates all forms of restraint, all forms of morality, all forms of unselfishness. So this is the kind of the foundational practices that one has to do. It's only after you keep on doing it, then all other things fall into place. Everything becomes harmonious. So keep on doing japa and japa and japa. Okay. Then we have something called, okay, there are now various types of mantras. So there are sattvic mantras and rajasic mantras and tamasic mantras. Sattva, rajas, tama, the three qualities of nature. The sattva mantras are those mantras related to gods and goddesses. They are the sattva mantras. One needs to do or utilize such mantras only if one wants to purify or refine or take the reverse journey back into consciousness. The rajas mantras related to lesser divinities, yakshas and rakshangsis, all these things. There are lesser divinities there. Tamasic mantras related to disembodied souls and ghouls, etc. Okay. Now it depends on your personality, what your personality is. There are some people who are automatically attracted towards godly things, to gods and goddesses. So there has to be a nature, a sattvic nature. There are some who are the violent people, the aggressive people, those who, are criminals and corrupt and all these kind of things. When these guys, they worship whatever deities, they worship them for that gain. I want this, I want this. Help me, save me, this, that. So all the lesser divinities. And the tamasic, of course, that in India we have these rituals called Marana, Uchchedana, etc. Harmful rituals. You can help destroy other people through mantras, certain mantras. So it's not that all mantras are of equal importance or equal value and are to be employed equally by all people. No. The purification, the refinement of consciousness comes through sattvika mantras. This is important. Because if that is not there, then everything you will get these lower energies there within you. You will not raise yourself to the highest. Okay. So, sattva and rajas and tamas, there are the three, you can say, qualities of nature. We all have these three qualities, but one is always predominant. The sattva is white, rajas is red, tamas is black. Okay. So this is obvious from the colors itself. Okay. Now, let's look at it in a practical. We are going to use the mantra Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Okay. That is the mantra. Last night we had a vigil. The whole night we chanted Jai Shri Ramakrishna. So before we can go into it, we will say, when we start doing japa, now we are coming to the practice side. When we start doing japa, what happened? The repetition of God's name. You can feel it's physical. You're using your, sometimes your tongue, and sometimes the tongue moves, and you're using all the physical apparatus is evident when you start doing japa. The second stage, as you keep on persisting, the second stage is you have to harmonize that mantra now with your prana, life breath. So how do you do that? This is slightly difficult, but it can start with harmonizing your mantra along with your breath. That's stage 2. And then 2A is you unyoke your mantra from your life breath because it has become slightly deeper. Your life forces are now vibrating with the mantra. That was just a kind of entry point, a kind of like a ladder you climb with the help of that breath. But once you reach to a point, you don't need that ladder. Okay. And then the next is, so that time the attention or the awareness should be on your nose in the second stage. Then you'll have to have, when you unyoke the mantra from the breath, your awareness has to be at the throat. The third stage of mantra repetition is one must become aware or focus on your heart. That is the mental repetition. It is here that the speed picks up. When you're doing physical mantra, when the mantra is on the physical level, it is slow, cumbersome, sometimes kind of inarticulate also. When it comes down to the breath, it becomes slower, much slower, and it is now harmonious. And then you unyoke it here and put it here, put the attention here. It becomes faster. And then as it goes down deeper to the mind level, here to the center of the, you can say, heart, here it becomes even faster. And then from here, it kind of pervades everywhere. Your whole body now, everything, every cell, everything in every molecule in your body now is repeating this mantra. Why? Because it has become diffused with consciousness. And it is at that level, the mantra becomes extremely powerful, it's extremely pervasive, extremely subtle, and extremely awakened. Okay. So we start with the simple exercises because we are starting on the physical level. I would recommend you start by a semi-audible repetition of the mantra. If there's no one around, you can do it. If there's someone around, don't do it, because the mantra has not to be heard by someone else. Your mantra should not be because there's nothing secret, it's just sacred. So you start with Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna. We put it up for you so that you can see it. Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Here is the picture of Shri Ramakrishna. Now keep your eyes open while repeating Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Look at the picture. Now let the mantra now become inaudible, but you can move your lips and your tongue. You're moving your lips, you're moving your tongue, everything is on the physical plane. Now keep on repeating Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Now don't move your tongue and don't move any kind of movement in the throat or anything like that. Keep it still. Repeat it silently. Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Don't move your tongue. Keep it still. Let not the tongue also touch your teeth or the palate. Keep your eyes steady on the screen. Don't let them wander. Now harmonize Jai Shri Ramakrishna with each breath. And in breath, inhale Jai, exhale Shri, inhale Rama, exhale Krishna. Jai Shri Rama Krishna. Jai Shri Rama Krishna. See that the mantra is harmonized with your breath. Keep on repeating it silently, please. Now become aware of the mantra at the base of your throat, please. Repeat it silently, slowly. Become aware of the mantra in your throat. Jai Shri Ramakrishna. This is on the level of vital forces, life forces. Now bring your focus to the center of your chest, in the heart center, Anahata. Repeat, keep on repeating silently. Really focus on the heart center. Keep looking at the picture of Shri Ramakrishna. You can, with your finger or your thumb, touch that center of your chest Now close your eyes completely and watch that mental image of Shri Ramakrishna while you silently repeat Jai Shri Ramakrishna. With your index or your thumb, keep on touching the center of your chest, please. Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Okay, open your eyes and we'll go back to how we had started. So just remember those stages. You first semi-audibly or even audibly, Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Then make it semi-audible, Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Then make it silent. Then stop moving the tongue and keep everything still. Keep your eyes focused either externally on the picture or close your eyes, focus on the picture internally. Then harmonize it with your breath. Then pay attention here. So this drops off automatically. Don't think about it. It drops off automatically. You're on the level of the vital forces. And then as you keep on repeating, focus here on your chest there, and you will find now the mantra is repeated faster and faster. It becomes more deeper and deeper. And that is a place where you need to hold on to this center of consciousness. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And as it gets deeper inside, it proliferates or spreads out all over your body. Your entire body, you're not only repeating the mantra through this mouth or through the vocal cords, but now with your mind inside. The mind is spread out all over. Your entire body is now repeating this mantra, including the mind, including the vital forces, including the body. This is a tremendous, you can say, stage of mantra repetition, where now you know the only thing is that you step into that consciousness, and there you have it. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We take questions now for okay. Good. Thank you. There are so many thank yous. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm doing research on consciousness at my late age. Okay. I should have studied it first. This is a blessing from. Thanks, Swamiji, about this task about mantra and japa. Good. Thank you. Keep on doing research here. When should one chant Gayatri Mantra? Proper timings. Gayatri Mantra should be chanted in the mornings, when in early mornings, dawn. When night passes into day, that's dawn. And when evening passes into night. So these are the two main timings one should do. One can also practice the Gayatri in the afternoon when there is a kind of around 12 o'clock. So that is also the. There are some traditional practitioners, they do it 4 times. Morning, afternoon, evening and night, midnight. So I would ask you to kind of do it first 2 times a day, morning and evening. Swamiji, what is Tantra and Tantric meditation? Well, we have had a series of meditation skills for meditators. We have 14 or 15 classes on that. It's on YouTube. Go through it, and we have dealt with the Tantra meditation also. So you could go through it. So what is Tantra? Tantrayate, in short, is that which spreads, that which can say mantra is an aspect of Tantra. Okay. So Tantra is a vast literature. There's a Shiva Tantras and Shakta Tantras and Divine Mother Tantras. There's a Vaishnava, Vishnu Tantras, Ganapati Tantras, huge. The quantity of Tantras is mind-boggling. So if you're interested in the academic sense of Tantras and Tantricism, I would recommend you to read Arthur Avalon or John Woodruff's Serpent Power or Shakti and Shakta. These are the real good books, and he's got various other books also. So that, so much further. Okay. So Connie asks, so is it natural that with the evolution of the mantra, you are able to see what is real and what is not, and you care less and less about the worldly issues? Yes, worldly issues in a sense. Worldliness you will keep away. You will see that same consciousness reflected everywhere. So you will become more loving and more compassionate and more caring and more kind and more gentle and more pure. So it's not the kind of oh, I've evolved into this level, now I don't care for that. You will see that the whole transformation of your personality is going on. You are becoming more broad, you are becoming more unselfish, you are becoming more holy. That's what could happen. But yes, you will keep away from all the small stupid things in life. And that is recommended even from the beginning. So, and after you come down, you evolve, you see things actually on in a different perspective. You will see the world differently from what you see it now. Okay, so push on. Swamiji, is Harivangsha more authentic or Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of Krishna's childhood? Both. Harivangsha is much more ancient, more older than the Bhagavatam. So you could read both. Can a mantra be charged by a guru then to start japa? Generally, when the mantra is given by the guru, the mantra is charged by the guru's power, Guru Shakti. Not only he, but he has received it from his guru, and that guru has received from his guru. So there's a kind of a long apostolic succession of a mantra that has been handed down for generations and generations, and that is given to you with all that power. But the name of God itself is very powerful. The mantra, any mantra itself is powerful. So you don't have to worry. Repeat it. Okay. Did Taku get his first vision of Mother Divine due to his ritualistic sadhana? Sri Ramakrishna was an avatar. He is an avatar, sir. So he was working as a priest in the temple of Kali, but his first visions began when he was a mere child, a little boy. So he had constant visions all over, and this was a kind of a ground where now he could, in Dakshineshwar, where he could now properly practice according to the prescribed methods of ancient scriptures. So that was what he got. So he had, but I'm not trying to demean or degenerate or kind of make small ritualistic worship. Ritualistic worship is very important. The ritualistic worship that we have now has to cover both internal as well as external. People only are focused on the internal, like taking the flower and throwing it here, putting a sandal paste and doing some. No, there has to be a kind of a mood, an attitude, a bhava, and then it goes. So ritualistic worship is a very powerful medium. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna did it, so that we can also do. Okay. reciting a mantra wrongly can have any, not danger, but your progress is obstructed. So see that you repeat it correctly. Its articulation is correct. That's what. There's no danger. While repeating at work mantras, should we have a picture or repeat mentally? If you have a picture or a photo of your deity while you're working, it's good enough. If somebody kind of criticizes you or doesn't kind of appreciate it, you repeat it mentally. It has to be unobtrusive. Don't make a show of things. Okay, now I'm instead of working, I'm doing now meditation or japa. That shouldn't be there. So see that you do it secretly. Can one do japa in a noisy place? It's obvious. Even for any small task that you need to concentrate on, you need a quiet environment. You cannot sit down on the subway station and say, let me do japa here. Okay. So obviously, you don't go to a movie theater and say, is it noisy? But then I can do japa. No. You start with a quiet environment. And preferably, you're alone or in your room or in your home or in a place which is conducive. That's all. Ancient scriptures say, place which is conducive to meditation, quiet, lonely, cut away from everything.
What if you find yourself in a noisy place?
Who is God and what is the difference between God and consciousness? God and consciousness is one. Obviously, if you are conscious, God also has to be conscious and is the essence of consciousness. So there is no such thing as God separate and consciousness separate. Consciousness is the God. Now, if you have God, the idea of God, the word God evokes many types of images in different type of people. Okay. So consciousness is without form. The reality is actually without form. It is absolute. That absolute has taken various relative forms for the sake of the various devotees that are present. Who is God? What do you mean who? What is God? Where is God? You can ask that also. When you say who, there is a kind of you have to ask, it has to be located within time and space and causation. What is God? Where is God? Who is God? These things follow. You cannot say just who is God. Okay. So God transcends all categories of time, space and causation. Really. So who is God? Find out for yourself. Plunge deep inside and you'll find you as a part of that God. Then start from there. Then you will get those answers that you're searching for. Is it possible to chant mantra every waking minute? What are the specific challenges and guidelines? Yes, you've got to do it when you're not focusing on any work. You're walking, taking a kind of a stroll, or sitting down, you're in a leisure. The mantra has to be repeated. Initially, you have to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. Afterwards, it becomes automatic with your own breath. It's called Japa Ajapa. Later on, it becomes even deeper and it becomes automatic. The mind itself will keep on repeating it every moment. So what are the specific challenges? Go through some of these earlier series which we have given here starting from 1. We are on the 13th. Swamiji, how do we use our muscles in the stomach to help give strength to our repetition? Is it the beginning of the words? Oh no, don't use your muscles in the stomach to give you strength in your repetition. Repetition should be natural. It's not any muscular kind of activity. Try to sit down straight. That's all. So sit down straight, keep your body, neck and head straight. and you don't use any stomach muscles. Just sit straight and now repeat it. So you cannot think too high thoughts with when you're bent like this. Try it. So every time, this is the sign of attention. You try it. Whenever you have to give some attention, you suddenly straighten yourself up. That is. So keep yourself straight and keep on repeating naturally, slowly. Is there any place for animal sacrifice in a Vedic religion? I've been talking about things related to, the question should be related to the topic that we have been discussing. Okay. So that, please keep that in mind, so we could kind of not, we'll give everyone else a chance to ask relevant questions. When the repetition of the mantra becomes faster by itself, I can't harmonize it with the breath because it becomes slow or even stop due to sense of withdrawal. Oh no! When the repetition becomes fast, Bhavani asked, by itself, you don't need to harmonize it with your breath. That was the initial, that's a opening, that's a door. You enter through that breath, and then as it picks up, don't harmonize it with your breath. Then you keep it. At other times, other than when you are in a kind of a leisurely mood, sitting down, watching the sunset maybe, then you can kind of harmonize with your breath. You'll feel good, you feel uplifted. But as it picks up speed, you don't need to do that. You will feel automatically uplifted. No, you're not doing anything wrong. It's correct, perfectly all right. Bhavani again say. How can I help Japa? Can Japa help us to tackle tough situations in life? How to avoid distractions during Japa? What if you miss a Japa some days? If you miss some Japa, just salute the deity and say, I'm sorry, I can't do it today, but I'll do it, try to do it. And distractions, many of our things are kind of superfluous distractions. We really don't want to do japa, and we say if there's something urgent that needs attention, japa has to be done started with a special commitment. You must have some commitment to do japa. So you start with that commitment, stick to that commitment. There are times, of course, in this modern world where everything becomes so fast and you can say dizzy. Then you can miss. So how can japa have tough situations? Pay attention to tough situations. While facing tough situations, don't do japa. Face tough situations, pay attention, understand. It's only ignorance that makes you feel situations are tough. The more you know, the more you can tackle this. Remember this, it is knowledge that makes tough things easy. So, there are tough things, I will cross my fingers and let it pass. No, touch wood. No, that will not do. That's in popular pop culture, you can do that. When tough situations are there, learn about the situation correctly, pay attention to it, understand its consequences, its origins, and tackle it. How to avoid distractions during japa? Focus on japa, so the distraction will go away. Should I wear janai all the time and chant Gayatri mantra? Yes, Gayatri mantra is janayu. That's a sacred thread. One has to chant the Gayatri mantra with a sacred thread. If you have a sacred thread, hold it and to repeat the mantra. That's hold it like this and you repeat the Gayatri mantra. Kindly pardon me for missing. Okay, anyway. What is the benefit of wearing jani? The sacred thread gives you a remembrance that this is a sacred thread, and the wearer also need to be sacred now. You cannot do stupid things, silly things, bad things. You must have the sense of your own spiritual dignity. So that's the idea, constant remembrance. That is. and then your ancestors and their ancestors and their ancestors all wore it, so you keep on wearing it. Good luck to you. What is the goal of all monks and nuns? The goal of human life is to see God. Whether you do it through monasticism or through any other means, householder's life, there is no preference that these we will go get a special seats, the front row seats, and the others will be left. No, nothing like that. So God is a God for everyone. It is our characteristics that made us like this. So we have become like this. So we devoted all our time for meditation and this and that. So there were great householder devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. Not only in the Vedas, all the rishis were all great householders. They were very holy, very sacred. So we thank you very much. See you again. When's the next class?
Saturday for the day. It's
4. Yeah. See you then again in September.